Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Flamborough Head is a Dutch neo-progressive rock band founded in Netherlands in 1990. The group has been working intensively since the 1990s, recording successive albums. Very importantly, the band is still in very high form. For those unfamiliar with the group's work, you could stylistically compare their music to bands such as Camel, Marillion, Arena, and Jethro Tull. You can still hear the harmony between the melodic and warm playing under the sign of progressive rock, and elements sounding more classical and at times even folk. A side musical project was created by accident by Flamborough Head's keyboard player, Edo Spanninga, after testing some recording equipment in order to record 70s style music as an amusing endeavor. Edo was so excited about the results that he recruited other Flamborough Head members to make an album. They named their new musical adventure Trion, a contraction of the words trio and tron from Mellotron. To date, Trion has recorded 3 albums: Tortoise in 2003, Pilgrim, and my favorite, Funfair Fantasy, which is incredible. Flamborough Head's most recent release was Jumpin' the Milestone, which, as we're going to be talking a little bit, I gave it 5 stars, will easily satisfy the expectations of a wide variety of prog rock music fans. Please welcome keyboardist, songwriter, composer, and founding member for Dutch progressive rock band Flamborough Head, Edo Spanninga, to Interviewing the Legends. Edo, good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Well, that was a nice story.
Well, sometimes it's hard to find information about bands, you know. You guys have been around for a long time, but
yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of press here in the United States.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we got to change that.
Yeah, well, there's the internet, so
there is. Thank God for the internet, man.
Yeah.
You guys have been around. Actually, you had a cassette that came out in '94 called Bridge to the Promised Land.
Yeah.
The demo, right?
Yeah.
And then you re-released it in 2001. No, what happened back in '94?
Sorry, what happened?
Yeah, what happened in '94? Did you not cut a record in '94 with that album? And
yeah, it was a demo, and we made it on cassette, and those were the '90s, and it was still without all the digital equipment where to record your own album. So we had an old Fostex 8-tracks analog recording device, and we made that cassette in our rehearsal studio. And in those days, it was so difficult to release an album, a CD. Vinyl was over. So we made a cassette, and it got some airplay, and we got known in the Netherlands. But later, Malcolm Parker of Cyclops Records thought it was a good idea to re-release it 8 years later. 2001, you said? So,
2001, right?
So it was sort of a gesture to the fans. So to have the discography complete. But that's the idea.
You know, there are so many incredible prog bands that aren't in the United States. Yeah. And, you know, I had, you know, Arjen Lucassen. Do you know Arjen? Yeah. Of course, I've had Barry Hay from Golden Earring, you know, also. Yeah. But, you know, from Germany, from Finland, from Sweden, they're fantastic groups, but they're not getting enough PR in the United States, which, you know.
But do American bands like Echoline or similar bands got airplay in the States?
Sure. Yeah. We're huge on prog here, you know. We love our prog.
But perhaps it's more a European style of music, or is that
No, not really. I don't think so. No. I think the music world has been polluted. I mean, all over the world. Commercial radio sucks, you know.
But that's the same in Holland. If you see the Prog, Prog is well known in Holland,
right?
But it's a niche. It's a small market. We've got one venue which stage prog bands through the year,
right?
But it's a difficult genre, and you see a lot of festivals go broke because it's difficult to arrange an audience, and that's in spite of the fact that there are a lot of musicians in Europe, it's difficult to go out and play around and do your gigs. So it's difficult. But at the other hand, if you see how many people worldwide are in love of this genre, then it's great.
Yeah, it's sad, man. I'm telling you, because the best music, the best musicians are prog artists.
Yeah,
they really
I
are.
think so. Yeah,
yeah.
But skills is not enough, I think, to be popular. So
you know, I was a disc jockey back in the late 70s. I did top 40, you know, and music has changed so much. And I grew up in the 60s, you know, where radio was fantastic. You know, it's a shame. It really is.
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah.
But there's enough to enjoy. There's enough left to discover, and there are new bands coming. So
they need more stations. Do you know Moro.com from France?
Yeah.
That's a good station. I mean, they promote a lot of new prog music, you know?
Yeah. Well, and in Holland, the major companies, the major radio shows do not host prog, but there are several smaller regional radio shows who pay attention to prog music. So it's all fragmented through the Netherlands. There's not a major Dutch broadcast company who will pay attention to prog.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
That's a shame. That's crazy. Yeah. You know, the Netherlands has such a great reputation now, you know, for being the best place to live in the world.
Well, prog-wise it is, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And perhaps Scandinavia is also
Scandinavia, number one, man, you know?
Yeah.
If my wife says okay, I'd move there. If you guys would let me in, you know.
Yeah. Now Holland is okay. We have some festivals, we have some venues. You can go to the other countries around. So there's a lot to do when it comes to prog.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I take trips through YouTube, these little tours of Amsterdam and all of the Netherlands, just to see what it's like. And it's a beautiful country, man.
Well, come over and join us.
I think I will. I'll come to a prog fest or something, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I want to chat about Jump Into the Milestone. That's a fantastic album. I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what did you like?
Here's what I said about it. Sophisticated, innovative, blissful, breathtaking, magnificently written and composed, brilliantly performed, prog rock at its very best. That's what I said about the album.
Well, that's nice to hear.
It's incredible. Okay. First of all, the best track on the album, there's 2 that I think are the best. Okay. Of course, Jumping the Milestone. What an incredible song. And I first heard that song on Moro.
Okay. Yeah.
What a great song, man.
Yeah. It's written by Hans, our guitar player.
Okay.
And he's the one in the band who was educated as a musician. And he's a teacher, a music teacher. And he's very gifted, and he makes beautiful long songs. He has a new single out on how does it on the streaming platforms.
Like Spotify
and you can find several songs of him, and he's a great composer and a great piano player. So
So that's him playing piano on that track?
Yeah, he played. Normally I play the keyboards, but he made a demo and played such a beautiful piano part. So I took the wise decision to leave it and give him the credit. So in that song, he's the one who's playing the piano. And in fact, he's a better piano player than I am. So sometimes it's difficult to play his parts. He wrote for the band. So, well, we'll manage. But but he's a great musician.
All you guys are great musicians.
Well, we try to, but it's difficult to say of yourself. But we were very proud of the last album, and we surprised ourselves. So that's okay. Yeah.
You know, Jumping the Milestone, in my opinion, should be a hit. Right?
Yeah, probably, but yeah, perhaps you have to be of some age to really appreciate it. I'm not sure. We all grew up in the 70s and we understand it.
Right.
And yeah. But we got pleasant and good reviews so far. So
good.
We are pleased with it.
The entire group shines on that track. You can hear everybody on that track.
Yeah.
Your singer, is it Margaret?
Yeah, Margriet. Yeah, we say
Margriet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, us Americans do have trouble pronouncing some of those names.
No, well, she said Margaret, and it's fine.
I try my best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Margriet, man, she is an incredible singer. She's very classy. Yeah. You know, and she reminds me of those women singers from the 60s and 70s because there were so many of them back then, you know?
She's not very high pitched like
exactly.
any of Renaissance,
right?
But she has a sort of some reviewer wrote it was a sort of country and western sound in it. But I think that's nice to have a female vocalist in a prog band, and you will not end up with cliche vocals in such a way. Yeah.
Well, you don't want her to sound like Annie or, you know, any of the women from Prog. So, and she does. I know Annie, by the way. Annie's great. I love Annie. She's cool.
Yeah.
You know, she's been on the show many, many times. But she, you know, she's got that class. She reminds me kind of like a Rita Coolidge.
Okay.
You know, some of her big hits. You know, she's got that kind of style, I guess.
Yeah. And she's playing the flute and the recorder. So
she's wonderful with the flute.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
I hear so many bands in your band, and you know, the one that always comes to mind, I always hear Camel because of the flute, I think.
Yeah, you know? Well, if I make a top 10 of my favorite bands, and then Camel is very high, but also Renaissance, Renaissance, how do you pronounce it here? But also bands like Griffin, the UK band, the folk band, and of course the major bands like Genesis and Yes, and name it. Yeah.
But there's so many great bands today, you know.
Yeah.
Like Big Train, you know, and they're all good. RPWL from Germany, you know.
No, a lot of bands are very good, and unknown. You have to search the net to find them all.
Yeah.
There's a Norwegian band called Meer.
Oh yeah, I love Meer. They've been on the show. They're fantastic.
They are great. It's such they were on a festival 2 weeks ago in Holland, and unfortunately, I couldn't go to that festival. But I would love to see them because it's such a great band. Yeah,
I had the band on. I love Beehive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That big hit. Yeah. And you know, I love the violins. They're big on the violins. Yeah. See, I wish all you guys would get really big. You know, that's my hope.
Yeah, that's why they call the band Big Train, and it's already big. We should call get a lot of Big Flamborough Head. Yeah.
I love the name too, by the way. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's a silly name in a way. It's a spot. I was on a holiday in England, and we were there on that spot, that cliff, and I thought, well, I like the name, I like the place, so we named the band after a cliff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned in one interview that you were thinking like Led Zeppelin, you know, Flamborough Head.
Like double names. Somebody say, and just like Genesis.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize there was a big battle there. There was a big naval battle.
Yeah. Well, I came out. We realized later on that there was a major battle in the UK, but no.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was led by John Paul Jones and two British escort vessels. It was 1779. It was
a long time ago.
Yeah. Very cool.
Also, so yeah.
I love the name. I really do.
Yeah.
Some of the other tracks. Go ahead.
Have you ever been there in England then?
I have not. I've never been to Europe. No.
Okay. You should go there.
I need to go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been tough, after the pandemic. A lot of people are afraid to do anything anymore,
Yeah.
but
Well, you can travel now, so
yeah, exactly. The Garden Shred, that's your opening track.
Yeah.
A great flute,
Yeah.
beautiful track. I love the crickets in the
Yeah. Yeah.
Great tune. Tomorrow's Another Day, which sounds like a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Shades of Camel, very much so in that one.
Yeah.
Start of a Nightmare. That's a very interesting track, isn't it?
Lyric wise or music?
Yeah, lyric wise, I think.
Yeah. Well, Margriet and I, we are partners. And where we live, we had a nasty experience in the night. Somebody knocked at our door with a gun in his hand.
Really?
So, yeah, that was awful. And years ago. So, but she made a lyric of it. The nightmare you can overcome you, and the sound and the lyrics is matching the music. So it's a good combination.
Yeah, it's well done. I love it. Hans, great guitar player.
Yeah, yeah.
And I could hear your keyboards in this track too. You're excellent keyboard player.
Yeah.
Do you do mellotron as well?
Well, I love the vintage sounds of the 70s.
Right.
And that was also the idea of Trion to limit your sounds to the major sounds of an acoustic piano, the Hammond organ, the mellotron, and the Moog. And what I've learned from Trion is if you limit your sounds, you have to be more creative. And nowadays, the synthesizers are packed with all beautiful sounds. You don't have to do anything. Any note any key
you don't need a band anymore.
No, it sounds terrific. It sounds beautiful. But if you have these old type sounds of a piano and the Hammond and the organ, the Moog, then well, you become creative in playing around with these sounds, and I love these sounds. So this for me, it's one of the joys of being in a prog band to listen to a mellotron, and but I don't use the original instruments. Nowadays, the VSTs and the plugins are so okay and so good, and it's also nice when you have a gig, so you can travel light with only a laptop. So
exactly. I'm noticing more and more one-man, two-man bands, because they can do it all in the studio by themselves.
Yeah.
But
the better albums are made by a collective.
Yes.
A solo album, you can do everything in your studio on your attic.
Right.
But in Flamborough Head, it's so good when I have an idea and I come to the rehearsing studio and Hans, our guitar player, says it's lousy, then that's okay. You become better if there are critics and feedback, and then you get a good album.
Yeah. You guys are incredible. You guys, I mean, I love your music, man.
Okay, thanks.
I really do. The other big hit on this album, I thought, was Fear of Failure. That right? And the keyboards are great on that track.
Yeah, that's the organ track.
Yeah. Who composed that track? Was that you?
Well, that track was a combined effort of Eddie, our former bass player, and Hans, our guitar player. They came together and jammed together.
Right.
And they came out with some fabric of a song, and then I made the intro on the cathedral organ, and there's a part in between with the flute and the organ, which I added. So most credits should go to Eddie and Hans, but sometimes there are little ideas and there are more composers.
Yeah. Do you think this band is going to be together the way it is for a while? Because I know you went through a lot of lineup changes in the past.
Yeah. Eddie, Eddie was our guitar player, and then he was away for a few years. Then he became our bass player. I hope we will play together in this with these 5 people. Because these guys are nice, and that's also fine to be in a band with friends and have a good atmosphere. And they are musical very gifted. We have a new bass player who was also in Leap Day.
Okay.
And he's a very different player, so it's also nice to find out what the next album will be with him on the album. He's a more not so typical 70s bass player, more 80s. So I think the sound will be a little bit more aggressive with that bass player.
Right.
So I'm curious to find out, well, what the next album will be. But it will sound like Flamborough Head.
Are you working on it now, or?
Yeah, well, we had a gig last March, and we had to prepare for that, and now I'm writing new songs, and the other people in the band are trying to write songs. And after the summer break, we will try to well, to work on a new album, and in the meantime, try to find some decent gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who produced this album? Because the quality is excellent. Very good engineering.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, on this laptop which I use now. Yeah, it's Cubase.
Right.
On a simple laptop, and some good plugins in Cubase. We have a pre-amplifier which is okay from Focusrite. But we did it all in our rehearsal studio. We did some in my musical room where I'm now, just in my attic.
Right.
So it's yeah, we did it all ourselves. It was cheap to make, but the sound is okay.
It's incredible.
Yeah, we were surprised ourselves by how the end result was.
Now, can you duplicate that entire album on stage, you think?
Well, if you arrange a track for an album, then you write multiple keyboard parts, and I've got 2 hands.
Yeah.
So if I play, say, an organ, I can't play the violin parts. So, but live, the experience for the audience is so different. It's louder. The vibe of live, it's different. They know they have to. Well, they have to miss some parts, but we can play all the songs live. Yeah.
You know what's big now? It might have been big for a while. It's progressive metal.
Yeah.
A new genre. Which is okay because it's still in the progressive.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. There's actually a lot of good prog metal bands out there too.
Yeah. Very gifted musicians.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm not so into the double bass drum part. So
yeah. But the album's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fantastic. Everybody needs to buy this album because you know, you got some great musicians. You got Hans on guitars. Let's see, Eddie was on bass.
Yeah.
Marguerite was on vocals and flute.
Yeah.
You on the keys. And is on the drums, is that Cohen? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Koen. Yeah, Koen Rosen.
Okay. Yeah, I love the way you guys pronounce your names there. So
it's Dutch.
You know, it's got that extra flair, you know. I love it.
Yeah, my name is pronounced Edo.
Edo. Okay.
Yeah.
Edo. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, most English speaking people say Edo.
Edo, yeah.
But never mind.
Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. Ed, and with the O at the end.
Yeah.
Edo.
Yeah.
My name is hard too. Shasho. Shasho. Yeah.
Sounds Japanese.
You know what? It means the train conductor in Japanese. If you look that up, it does. But it's actually my father's family was from Syria. So it's kind of Arabic. So but there are Japanese that understand that name. So
okay, yeah,
I got a very strange culture too. My mom was from Cuba.
Okay, you're very international.
I am. Trion, Funfair Fantasy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, that was another 5-star album.
Okay.
What's going on with Trion? That was 2013. What's happening?
But we are working on a new album.
Good.
And we are doing so for 4 years now. So we recorded all the drum parts, I think 4 years ago.
Right.
And then came COVID, and
killed everybody.
It disrupts also Trion. So things were on a standstill for a while, and in 2 weeks' time, Eddie, the bass and guitar player, will come over to my house, and we will record some new guitar and bass parts.
Mm-hmm.
And the drummer, Mello, who lives near Amsterdam, is working on some tracks in his house. So I hope we will finalize all the recordings coming autumn. And if things are going as planned, then perhaps a release somewhere next year.
Fantastic.
Spring.
Yeah.
And it will be the same old Trion sound with
good.
Yeah. It's fun to make. Every time I make, if I record the Trion songs, it's fun to do.
Yeah.
You
know, it's kind of music you can sit back and listen to over and over again. You know, no matter what you're doing.
No, it's very laid back in a way. But the fun for us is in Trion, there are 3 of us.
Right.
And we made a decision in 2003 when we made the first album that we welcome every idea, and if you think it's lousy, then you better make with your part the end result better. So we never say no to one's idea.
Yeah.
And we try to. I told you about the limitation. We try to limit several songs in the album you named. There's a song, and we agreed on that in every chord there should be a G.
Okay.
And we made a song like that. And so we make silly ideas to compose, and then the end result, it's okay.
Well, it's great music, you know. You're the modern age Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
But a little bit mellower, I think.
You know, that was the problem I had with the LP. You know, I had Keith Emerson on the show. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
We talked for a long time.
Okay.
Love the LP, but sometimes they got into that right?
Yeah. But he's an amazing keyboard player.
Yes. So, I agree.
Yeah, he's great.
But I'd rather hear the more mellower tracks like you guys.
You don't need to be so gifted.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm so glad you guys are coming back. Trion's coming back since
next year.
Good. Yeah. So you may have 2 albums next year coming out.
Well, it took us. Flamborough Head took us 7-8 years now, nearly 10.
Really?
But I hope the next Flamborough Head album will not take that long. So
right. And you definitely need more gigs. I know you got the Fusion Festival coming up, but that's next year.
Yeah, next year, and probably at the art festival near Leipzig in Germany.
Right.
Next year, but it's so difficult. There are a lot of good bands around.
Yeah.
The competition is stiff, so and there's also money involved. The Brexit makes it for us difficult.
It makes it. I heard that.
A gig in England.
I heard that
it's more expensive in Dutch bands. It's harder to go there.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe one day you'll come to the United States.
Yeah, that would be
great.
Fun. Well, there are several festivals, so but it's so expensive. If you only have to pay for the travel expenses, then even Well, it's logic that a festival organizer will stick to American bands.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting to get, Haken finally came, and they did a tour. They did a tour here in the United States. Ross Jennings, and I just had Dream Theater was just here doing a tour as well. So with Devin Towson, I had Devin Towson. That's how I was trying to tell you earlier. I interviewed Devin Towson yesterday.
Yeah.
At he was doing a concert, and the Zoom went crazy and it didn't record. So now we gotta do it all over again.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens, it's embarrassing. But the Fusion Festival, you got Rosalie Cunningham. I love her. I had her on the show.
Okay.
Life Signs. I think Dave's still in that band, right? Dave Bainbridge.
Okay. Yeah, he's in the band.
Kite Parade. I had Andy Foster on the show. These are all my favorite bands. And you guys, Frank Barducci,
Yeah. Well, that's a band who is gigging a lot around Europe.
Yeah.
He's doing very well. Yeah.
It's a great show. I wish the show was in the US, man. I would have a blast. Yeah. These are all my favorite guys.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a woman from Pittsburgh who's coming over last year to I thought Pittsburgh. Well, anyway, there are visitors from the States to Fusion. So
right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, if I had a radio station, it'd be all Prog, and I'd blow everybody away. I really would, because I love Prog music. I've been into Prog for years and years and years. And it's people like you that understand bands like Camel. Not everybody knew about Camel. You know what I mean?
No.
And Gentle Giant and all those guys.
Yeah.
Those are the pioneers, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Even though they say the first kind of Prog album was Sgt. Pepper's. A lot of people say that.
Yeah, for me, it's more in the court of the Crimson King than in 69. Yeah.
I think you're right.
It's the start of Prog.
Yeah. And Genesis, the early Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Early, yes. Yeah. I think you're right about that. Who are some of your favorite keyboard players? I know.
Well, John Taut. John Taut is from Renaissance.
From Renaissance, yeah.
Yeah, I think his piano playing is so superb, so good, so tasteful and classical, and I like it. And that's also with Rick Wakeman and Tony Banks. So I like it when a keyboard player can also play the piano.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of keyboard players who do beautiful things on the keyboards, but they play the chords with strings and all these laying sounds. And for me, it's nice to hear somebody play the piano. But that's John Taut in their band in Renaissance. I think it's the most important instrument, the piano.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I love the keyboard players that can play so like Rick Wakeman, Patrick Moraz. He's another excellent piano player.
Yeah. But I saw so many fine keyboard players, and you always name the big ones, like Tony Banks and Rick Wakeman, but there are several very fine keyboard players. But I don't compare myself. If I compare myself to Keith Emerson, then I'm a very mediocre player. But all these people influenced my playing through the years and how I want to play. And I can't play like Keith Emerson, but it's there are examples through the years. So yeah.
I think you're really going to be noticed with Trion.
I hope so.
Yeah. That's why I'm so happy that you got another album coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's 20 years now. If we in the first one in 2003.
Yep.
And now 20 years later, still making Trion album. So
and Trion can tour as well. You can tour.
No, it's difficult because
we
it's difficult for Eddie to play bass and guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we are a trio. And
well, you can hire somebody.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But we made a decision to let Trion's. It's only a studio band,
okay,
and not a touring band. So
yeah.
I can't even recall what I played on the first album. So
really,
no, yeah, no.
So how successful do you guys want to be?
Well, we're pleased with where we are now. Because we all are hobby musicians. We have different types of work at daytime.
What do you do during the day? You mentioned college.
I'm a teacher. I studied history, but now I'm working with young students who are getting into problems by smoking too much.
Okay.
They don't show up, and then we try to get them back to school, and that's what my job is now. And that's my main occupation for the income. But in the evening and in my spare time, then we make music. And the rest of the band, they are all involved with other professions.
Right.
So we do not need the money, and there is no money in Prague. So it's okay. The only disadvantage of where we are now is you can't play a lot. It's difficult to find a gig.
Right.
If we do a gig, then half a year later there's the next one. So every gig is our debut, and you need some, well, how do you say it? Experience.
Right.
The better you become.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like you said, it's the festivals, and they're spaced apart.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. So it's, and we are too small to have a big tour. If you are a big train or even Pendragon, there are a few bands who can manage and stage a tour through Europe.
Right.
But these are a few. And
well, even big train now has got a new vocalist, so it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
He's good. I had him on the show. He's good.
Yeah, I saw him in the Boerderij Zoetermeer.
Yeah.
Last year August, their show, and it's very good. And the strange thing is that in 1997 we used to stage our own festival, Prog Farm. For 15 years we organized a progressive festival of our own, and then
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
We had Big Train 25 years ago. That was their first continental gig.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But they were well unknown by these days, and a different band than they are now. So
yeah.
But we staged a lot of prog bands through the years. So mostly Autumn and Big Train, and well, quite a lot. Yeah,
I think it's easy to get the big prog bands together on a festival because they want to play just as much as anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but it's difficult. We had a small festival. We could only pay their expenses.
Right.
So and then you have to stick to the lesser known bands. Yeah. But then even you can arrange interesting festival. Right. We had bands from Scandinavia, from all over Europe. So
see, I would love that. That's what I'm doing mostly now on my show. I'm bringing prog bands from all over the world on my show because I want to promote them.
Yeah.
They're so good. And nobody here knows about them. Somebody's got to tell them.
Yeah. Well, you do.
I do.
Yeah.
But we need more Morrow.coms. I tried to partner up with Morrow. They never got back to me. I don't know. Maybe it's the language thing or whatever. But I wanted to promote their station on my sites, and they never got back to me. because I interview all the guys that are on their station.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
well, I think Spotify is doing also a good job nowadays.
Yeah.
It's easy to find new bands through
right.
Spotify because they have all sorts of suggestions. If you
Mhm.
like this band, then you should try this one.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Pandora does that sometimes too.
yeah.
Yeah. This will be on Spotify, by the way. You'll be on
Okay.
Spotify.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
partner with all those guys. Pandora,
Yeah.
Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple. So yeah, this will be everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. What so what's the big music artist that inspired you to get into keyboards and prog?
Well, my main Prog experience, I was 14 years old,
Right.
and I listened to Sailing England by the Pound.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Great album.
and the first line, "Can you tell me where my country lies?" And I was flabbergasted from what's this, and from that moment I knew I want to make this music myself. And it took years to come there, but I think that album was the
turning point for
game,
you.
the game changer. So
yeah.
Still it is. I listen a lot to it, and I still like it every time. So it's a great album.
It's like King Crimson and Red. That's one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, but
Starless.
After Selling England by the Pound, there was from the Graaf Generator, pronounced in Dutch,
right,
and all other bands, King Crimson, but also the Canterbury style types of bands.
Yep.
So, and so many bands who influenced us. So,
did you like Focus?
Yeah, yeah. It's a great band, and
I still don't know how he did it on Hocus Pocus. I don't see how he. That was incredible.
The singing, you mean?
Yeah, the yodeling and the whistling, and I don't know how he did it.
Well, he did it.
He did it. I don't know if he can do it anymore, though.
Yeah, he does.
Does he?
Yeah, we attended the gig some years ago, and he still can do it. So yeah.
How do you pronounce it? Is it this? What? How do you? Thijs. Yeah.
Thijs van Leer.
I was supposed to have him on the show a long time ago, but it just didn't work out.
Oh,
scheduling, that.
Okay.
Yeah, but Barry Hayes is a nice guy. Barry from Golden Earring.
Yeah,
and I think the guitar player is ill now. Which
he has tremors in his hand. How you call this?
That's sad. He's such a great guitar player too.
Yeah.
Barry's a cool guy.
Yeah,
he's a really good guy. Do you know Barry?
Yeah, well, I don't. I'm not personally, but of course we know who he is. So,
he's got to be pretty big there.
Yeah.
They always.
Well, he's living in
Curacao. I think in Curacao.
Yeah, one of the Dutch overseas islands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're living good.
Well, he was Golden Earring was the only major international band from the Netherlands, I think. There was Focus, but that was more limited.
Right.
And I think Ray the Love was the biggest hit from
the
Netherlands, I think.
Yeah. Golden Earring. I did a special on Golden Earring because a lot of people don't know. They've been around longer than the Rolling Stones. Did you know that? Since the early 60s.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah. And I did I think it was an anniversary that I did a very special show about them. Yeah. They deserved it.
Yeah, well, then Flamborough Head is halfway. So
oh my goodness, yeah. You've been around a long time, man.
Well, we are 30 years, so that's nice also. Yeah.
Well, I hope it's another 30. I really do.
I hope so. Yeah.
We need you guys. I'm tired of Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and all that garbage.
Yeah. Well, you can put it off.
All right, here's your final question. I ask everybody this question. I get some really interesting answers, okay? You know, there's a movie called Field of Dreams. I don't know if you saw it or not. It's a baseball movie with Kevin Costner. But in the movie, someone's granted a wish. And so if you had a wish to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Oh, interesting.
I mean, you can go way back. Could be Beethoven. Okay.
Yeah. Well, then it should be Bach.
Okay.
Johann Sebastian Bach. When I listen to Bach, the Matthew Passion, if you listen to that, how it is crafted and how is it composed, then it is so different and so out of space. So you can't even come close if you listen to that. So that would be my answer. But if you limit your choice to Prog and Prog musicians and then not a keyboard player, because that's what I do. So yeah. Well, then I think it would be Peter Gabriel.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, as a vocalist, that voice is so great. So
yeah, very distinct. You know, but you know what? Phil Collins did pull it off, which was amazing when he replaced him. You know.
Yeah.
I love Trick of the Tail. That's another one of my favorite albums.
Great album, of course. Yeah. There's more than Gabriel. So that's okay. Yeah. But I could also try, say, John Anderson, which has a great voice, and so we are spoiled with all these great
you're
musicians. Right. Yeah.
Okay, you need a guest artist on the next album. I'm thinking maybe Steve Hackett.
Yeah.
Or John Anderson.
Yeah.
You know, he would go well with your singer. You know,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should take them both.
Okay.
Ask them. Yeah.
Got a deal. Yeah. I'll put the word out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So what's next for Flamborough Head? You're working on a new album.
Yeah.
Working on some new gigs. Trion, working on Trion. Anything else we missed?
No, I think that's what we are doing now. And
okay.
Yeah. Next year, then hopefully a new Trion album. And
good. We'll have you on again for that.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Well, jumping the milestone, 5 stars. Everybody needs to buy that. Yeah. It's available on your website and Amazon. It's on Amazon as well.
Yeah.
But you probably make more money if they go to your website.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great album. Your official website, flamborougghhead.nl, I think it is. You're on Facebook, and you have a Bandcamp as well.
I don't think so, or it's an old one which we don't use.
Is that an old one? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I think it's Oscar Records Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Is that still happening?
Oscar is our label, and he probably put some tracks on it. So, but that's not then only Flamborough Head, but all the bands who are involved in Oscar.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, so that's a very important site to go to as well. Yeah. And I'm listing your discography as well, all your studio albums since '94 until now, and Trion. Yeah. And you know what's incredible too is Live in Budapest. That's an excellent album.
Yeah. Yeah, we gigged there with Yesterdays, also a good band. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All good stuff, man.
So
keep up the good work. You know.
Yeah.
Love the music. You guys are incredible. You know, maybe you should tour with Mir. Yeah.
One day. Yeah. It's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I'll put it out there. I talk to him from.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I put people together. I do that a lot.
Well,
all right, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm glad we got to Zoom together.
Yeah. And
It
thanks
must have
for
been the
your
storm.
attention. Yeah.
And my best to you and the family. You know, my daughter and my son-in-law, they're both teachers.
Okay.
And my son-in-law does history.
Okay. Same
Yeah.
as us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
small world.
we're very big on teachers. So thank you for doing what you're doing. It's
Yeah.
very
Okay.
important work.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Edo. Thank you so much,
Thanks
man.
for your attention and
All
having
right.
us.
We'll
Yeah.
see you.
Okay. See you,
Bye-bye.
Ray. Bye.